So let's see. Deadline interview of Kathleen Kennedy, right? We've read all these speculative reports that you are out, that there is a frenzy for the next person who's going to take over Lucasfilm. What is the truth? And then Kathleen Kennedy said in the article, the truth is, and I just want to say this loud and clear, I am not retiring. I will never retire from movies. I will die making movies. That's the first thing. That's the important thing to say. I am not retiring. Kathleen Kennedy is not retiring. Kathleen Kennedy is not going anywhere. And here we're going to get into these movies right now, actually. So what's happening is I've been talking with Bob and Alan about what eventual succession might look like. We have an amazing bench of people here, and we have every intention on making an announcement in the months or a year down the road. So I'm guessing that what this means is that I'm hearing a lot of people saying this. So she's backing down from the president's position at Disney Lucasfilm, but she's going to be running all of these movies. Which I would say that's worse at the end of the, if you're a fan of, if you want Disney, if you're one of these fence riders, right, who wants Disney Star Wars to succeed, and Kathleen Kennedy's like, well, I'm leaving the business side, I'm leaving the, the analytics and the numbers and the money and the reporting to Bob and everything, and I'm just going to work on the movies. That is not a good sign, because I mean, we all remember the sequel trilogy. We remember the Solo movie. We remember Rogue One. The last of which, mid at best, saved by the ending. Everything else was trash. So yes, by all means, Kathleen Kennedy, continue to go back and make some of these movies. Hasten the decline of Disney Star Wars. So this is good. This is good news to me. This is good news to me. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, she's going to be Filoni, but with movies. She'll probably work on those movies too. Anyway, we already read that. So, okay, so here we go. So this is like kind of an announcement now, this next part of what movie she's working on. She's producing the Mandalorian and Grogu movie right now. She's a producer of that, so there's your early warning sign for how awful that movie's going to be. And I'm also producing Sean Levy's movie, which is after that. So the Sean Levy movie, which one is that? That's the Ryan Gosling movie, correct, chat? Or am I completely off on that? The Sean Levy, I don't even remember. They've announced so many of these things, I don't even remember which is which. Which one is the Sean Levy movie? That's the Ryan Gosling movie. Narrow Dark says correct. Narrow Dark seems to know what he's talking about. Hell of a lot more than I do. So Kathleen Kennedy then, 100%, she's going to be there for the next two movies. By the time that Sean Levy movie comes out, when's that movie coming out? 2029? 2028? 2030? So we're going to get at least another 4 years of Kathleen Kennedy in Lucasfilm. If she's staying for the next two movie projects, that's going to put her at what, 75? She's going to be 75 years old working on these movies. Anyway, working on the Sean Levy movie, which is after that. So no announcement of the Rey movie. So the Rey, remember when they announced the Rey movie in the 2023 Star Wars Celebration, that was the first movie that they were working on. And you will not convince me otherwise of this. That's why they trotted Daisy Ridley out, because that at that time was the planned first movie coming back for Star Wars, going back into the movie theaters. The Rey movie was the first movie planned to do that. And then they saw the fan reaction. Then they saw the Marvels bomb. And then they got together and were just like, we absolutely can't do this. We cannot have Rey be the first movie, because it will definitely bomb. Anyway. So I will be staying at Lucasfilm and looking thoroughly to that Bob and Alan is stepping in. So with all that underway, we have every right to make that announcement when we want to make it. So I guess she's stepping down from, which obviously that's worse. If you were like, hypothetically, if I were one of these, I don't like Disney Star Wars currently, but I want it to get better. I want them to turn things around. If I were hypothetically one of those people, I would rather have Kathleen Kennedy be the president of Lucasfilm, again, focusing on the business and not actively working on the movie, being actively involved with the movie making process and being involved with the creative behind the movies. Because you know what she's going to shove into this movie, those movies. We know exactly what she's going to shove into the movies. Fucking the Force is female agenda. That's what she's going to shove into those. So anyway, so here's this is the next question they asked. Deadline. That you are looking within seems to give credence to what we've heard that an exec life Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni is in a good position as he works in Star Wars to write and direct. And she says, I can't say who, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I don't give a shit about that. Okay, oh, so here we go. I don't know if you guys saw Darth Melvin's video covering this article, but it was absolutely hilarious, especially this part of it. Yes, Darth Angel, you are 100% correct. So this flurry of press coverage, it sounds like chaos. What's the reality? Chaos? There has never been any chaos because we know exactly what the plan is. Just like she knew exactly what the plan was for the sequel trilogy, right, Kennedy? You fucking dumb whore. That's right, I said it. And we've been talking about it, as I said, nonstop for the last couple of years for obvious reasons. Obvious reasons because, like what? The fact that Disney Star Wars is failing? I'm not going to be here forever. George asked me 13 years ago to step in, and you fucked him over. I guarantee Kathleen Kennedy made a whole lot of promises to George. We're going to respect your characters. We're going to respect your story. We're going to respect your movies. We're going to respect everything that you did. And within the first movie coming out, they shit all over it. God, George, I guarantee they are not on speaking terms. Anyway, and as I said, we have a bench literally ready to handle the business. The job has also grown. There was no streaming. Okay, who the hell cares about that? Already talked about that. I recall the same retirement projections were rendered a while ago, and you re-upped, and here you are. What do you make of the fixation on your job status? So here we go. Deadline asked Kathleen Kennedy, what do you make of the fixation on your job status? The question they should have asked was, Mrs. Kennedy, Miss Kennedy, what are your thoughts on a majority of Star Wars fans wanting you out at Lucasfilm? That's the question that they should have asked. But Kathleen Kennedy, I truly do not know. Any discussion about me retiring or quitting or any of those things, that's complete rumor mill because though all these reports, I have just continued doing my job, continuing my contract, nothing unusual, it has all been manufactured. This answer to me just proves that Kathleen Kennedy and all the higher ups at Lucasfilm, they live in this echo chamber where Disney Star Wars is good. The hate for Disney Star Wars, they ignore everything that people like us say. You know, they'll come out and call us racist, sexist, misogynist on occasion. But for the most part, they live in their fucking little echo chamber, tell each other everything's going great, and the only thing that gets their attention is the analytics, the numbers, and the money. And then then and only then is when they will do something, aka the Acolyte. The Acolyte, the numbers, the viewership, the money was all way down on the Acolyte. What'd they do? They axed that show a month, not a year, a month after the finale of that show. I've said that for a long time. I say it all the time. These people, the higher up, they don't give a fuck what we think. They don't give a single solitary fuck what we think. They'll occasionally try and throw us a bone, aka key jingles, but they don't give a fuck what we want. They don't give a fuck what we think. Need of being replaced. Anything else interesting about this? Oh, here we go. Here's a question. So you've got a long resume of big movies. Compared to that, how much tougher is the challenge of so much public scrutiny and second guessing by the rabid fan base? Here we go. It's not uncommon to develop a project with big names who fall out when visions don't align, but they get reported as a big implosion. So let's hear what KK has to say. What you just said, though, is so interesting to me, Mike, because that is the development. It doesn't matter if you're doing Star Wars or anything else. What's troubling and frustrating is our development gets scrutinized, and I don't know any other production company where their development gets scrutinized like that. Because you are president of one of the biggest IPs, biggest film IPs ever. I'd say it's probably second now to Marvel with regards to longevity and money that they've made over the course of the years. But it's definitely the longest running film IP in history. So yeah, a lot of people are going to pay attention and a lot of people are going to fucking scrutinize you for it. Cry me a fucking river. It's very hard for anything to happen within Star Wars without some aspect of it becoming public before you want it to become public. So I guess managing the message in some way is also quite a challenge because, of course, not every single thing we put in development is we are going to. Then why do you announce movies, KK? How many movies have they announced? The Rian Johnson trilogy, the Rogue Squadron movie, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was originally a movie. You guys announce movies and then you cancel them. You trot out actors. You trotted out Daisy Ridley 2 years ago, and there's no release date for this movie yet. Again, I agree with Narrow Dark. I hope to God the movie happens because it's going to be hilarious. But that was 2 years ago, and we still haven't gotten a single announcement as to when this movie's happening. You just keep bumping it back and bumping it back and bumping it back, putting it on the back burner, and then eventually, I think it's more likely than not now, I hope it's not the case, but I think it's more likely than not that it gets axed. They're just going to put it on the back burner and then let it sit, wait till everyone forgets about it, and then say, like, yeah, we're just not going to do that now. And yes, Criminal Imagination, you're right as well. The KOTOR ripoff project, well, that's all of them. The KOTOR game, remember, they dropped a teaser trailer for the KOTOR game, remember? And then they canceled that. Criminal Imagination, yes, great point. That's another one. They keep announcing shit, video games too, and then just not doing them. Like, what the fuck? Great job, Kennedy. Whore. Anyway, God. We want to make those things that we feel are the best. We want to make those things that, as time passes, feel relevant to what the audience is responding to. Well, I can say, you are probably the worst person to ever try and attempt to do that and fail. I think you are probably the worst. You've done the worst job at that, giving the fans what they want. Kathleen Kennedy has probably done the worst job of any film studio president at giving the fans what they want. Holy fucking shit. So there's a constant discussion around that. So yeah, that's a tricky one because a lot of scrutiny under Star Wars and the negativity has been about development. There's a lot more negativity other than that. There's a lot of negativity with what you have given us as well, KK. Bitch. Of course we're going to develop lots of different things with an understanding that not everything gets made. Well, then stop announcing projects and not making them.